Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max. This is Sean Agama, your host, and we're only back to the original crew here with Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
Daniel had to cover for someone at work, so he is not able to be here today. But still got plenty of stuff to talk about. Hopefully, Daniel will be able to be back with us again next week. Well, Marc, lots been happening. We got, San Diego Comic-Con just ended, had a lot going on there, and plenty of things in the gaming world here. It feels like today was the announcement of VR stuff. So we'll get into that, and I'm very excited to see all the great reviews for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 that I am so ready to play on Friday when that thing comes out. I'm going to be like, as soon as I get home from work, hoping that thing drops at midnight. I already got it preloaded, just ready to hit that button and get going. Have you been? So I haven't been playing anything because, excuse me, I was going to get Live Alive, but and I'm glad to hear that it's got great reviews on its own as well. Very glad to see that another one of those HD 2D things is doing well. But unfortunately, when you know you're gonna drop, I'm trying to be a bit more selective this year. Of like, unless it's on the PS Plus service or on Game Pass, where I know I can it's gonna be there for a while. I can play, see if I get into it, and then dip out and then go back in when I have a spare moment. Unless it's something like, Neon White that I was just like really I looked at it, I saw reviews, I saw people that I trust interested in it and was like, okay, I have kind of a down moment. I'm going to play this, but just trying not to do the thing that ends up happening a lot to me where I'm like, okay, I'm kind of interested. Let me get this, or let me start playing this, and then I don't. And I think it's might be better to just like focus on stuff that I'm really excited about or really been looking forward to, and that seems to have been working for me so far this year. I did the same thing with I had been offered a code to review Endling Extension, which is that game with the fox where you're surviving and trying to teach your cubs how to progress, through. And I kind of was like, you know what? It's so close to Xenoblade. I know if I don't finish it by the time that game comes out, something's going to happen and I'm going to wind up not doing what I'm supposed to do. So
what about Stray?
Stray, thankfully, I played a little bit more. I appreciate the fact that it's a cat game, but I think like I just find myself like just enjoying kind of walking through the world and stuff, but it's not like totally grabbing me, So I was probably one of those I'll get back to. I know I played a little bit more, but as Dusk Falls, and that game is still very riveting. Story's still pretty good, but like I'm just in hype mode for. Like the same thing, I don't want to buy the Digimon game, even though I appreciate that franchise, I love that franchise. I know it's going to sit there, so I don't want to commit the same problem I had with Triangle Strategy, where I bought something, I played it here and there, but I have not like committed to it, and that's money that you're spending. You could be saving for the next thing that you really want. So, have you been playing anything, Marc?
I'm close to the end of my second Fire Emblem Three Hopes playthrough. I finally got PS Plus back again, so I played a little of Remnant from the Ashes with the Ends just like 2 hours ago, or like an hour and a half ago, really an hour ago, and we finally beat a boss we were stuck on for a while. I've been playing Rogue Legacy 2 some, and
okay.
Much as I hate to say it, I'm playing Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak or Sunbeam or
Sunbreak,
whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah.
Why do you hate to say it? That's a game, you know.
Well, Adam gave me a code like a month ago, and I forgot to even like redeem it. And then I looked at my email. I'm like, oh yeah, I told him I'd do this eventually. But like the DLC is messed up. Well, I mean, because it's like you have to like play through the main game to get to the DLC.
Yeah, you have to get to a certain
point. And it's like,
point.
It's going to take me a long ass time. Like, I mean, I guess I could just like cheat engine my way through it, like trying to one hit kills. Like that'd be kind of be fun actually. But like, yeah, it's just such a long game, and you know, I just hate some of the systems in Monster Hunter. You know, like the game, they make the game just like needlessly complicated, and now they add in like Spider-Man web swinging kind of, and it's like, wow, this is cool for 2 minutes, and then it's like this is still the same game though as Rise or Monster Hunter World. Like,
yeah. So you don't feel like there's anything different?
No, and it even looks a lot like Monster Hunter World too. Like, you know, like finding bone piles or like honey on the, you know, in the trees, or, you know, flowers or the stuff you can pick up. Like, it's like, yeah, this is more Monster Hunter, I guess. Like, this is more Asian themed, but that's about it. And now I have like, instead of just having like a palico, I have like a menagerie running around with me. I have like a dog I can ride, a palico, an owl, and maybe something else. Who knows?
Well, I mean, at least that's something, you know. It's not. So I'm gonna assume you're not super excited for the. Was it that supposed leak of Monster Hunter 6? That
not unless they add guns to it.
You got to have guns, or else it's not.
I mean, that's kind of funny, but it's one of the main problems Jens has with Remnant is he just doesn't like guns in the game, or, you know,
right?
He's much more of a melee playing, like, you know, he likes playing melee, so he doesn't like a lot of that. And he was
But didn't you say that like Elden Ring, he kind of went the opposite? Like he kind of figured that.
Well, he realized like I was wasting almost everyone compared to him, and then he's like, "Wow, yeah. Like range is way overpowered," but it still doesn't mean he's gonna like change his like playing style.
Oh, okay. So he didn't fall for that.
No, and it's funny him bitching about Remnant constantly, and he's like complaining about this boss fight as against these like two like dragonfly bosses at the same time, and there's like narrow bridge, and he's like, "Oh, this is such an unfair fight." I'm like, "This is most of Demon Souls, you know, Dark Soul, you know, all these fights are unfair." The only difference is in Remnant, you really can't cheat it, unlike, you know, Elden Ring or something.
Yeah. So there's really like nothing new to Sunbreak that makes it worthwhile for people to...
I don't even know. Ask me in 3 weeks when I get to the DLC. You know, I think it's
right.
It's probably like one more weapon type, and that's about it, or some more, you know, probably some new area to explore that, you know, will look nice, but it's still kind of static. So, and you know, part of my problem is it just doesn't run, like, it runs okay, but it doesn't run as well as it should on my computer, you know, because my computer's getting old. So,
right.
And I still miss having an Xbox 360 wired controller.
Oh, it died on you?
Yeah, it died years ago because the cord just like frayed or got screwed up. So now I'm using like a PS4 controller, which, you know, I like that controller too, but it doesn't have like the driver support that 360 one had.
Well, I mean, you could. Well, I'd imagine they're kind of expensive now to try to find, right?
Oh yeah, like to find like a new wired, like official 360 controller, it's like damn near impossible.
I know you told me years ago not to get the, you know, third party one, but I've never run into a game where it doesn't work. So,
I mean,
obviously I don't play that many games as you do, but
yeah, but I remember like one or two, like I tried one once and like the driver support like wasn't there correctly, but I mean they may have got it working finally.
Okay.
But yeah, and Rogue Legacy 2 is kind of fun, but I'm still pretty early on in it.
I know you. I know you really liked Road Legacy 1. So, I mean, what is different about Road Legacy 2? If you haven't,
I mean, it has new classes. It has like a different art style. That's probably the most like jarring thing. But I mean, this has more stuff, like just more modifiers and special attacks and stuff like that. Like it's hard to quantify. Like a Rogue Legacy only had 10 classes and this had 20 or something because I haven't unlocked everything. But it still just plays the same. I think you have like this like drop kick or like this like you can like bounce off enemies from like the top, like the by falling on them. So you can kind of also like jump up if you like hit a like lamppost or something. So there's a lot more like vertical combat if you really want there to be.
So it was in early access before, right? And it came.
Yeah,
out.
I mean I've had it for a while, but I didn't start like I did play it a little when it first came out like in early access, but I wanted to like wait because in early access I had a point where it's like, yeah, we're not done. Like it's like you got to the end of this, but we're not finished. So that's when I kind of put it away for like 6 months.
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
does it feel more done now?
Oh yeah, like there's no like big warning sign or big under construction sign when I got to the end of the docks, so that's helpful. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a full game, but yeah, it just takes me a while. Or I'm not great at it either. So, and like the first game, like certain classes and item or skill combinations, like you can like wreck the game.
Yeah, I mean that helps. Do you have a certain combo that you're playing, or?
Well, no, it's all randomized still. Or, I mean, I'm sure there's like some ability to like reroll characters or whatever, but like one time I got a chef, which is actually a combat class, and the chef can make food to heal himself up to 3 times, but if you pick up food in the game, it like restores that. And then at a certain point, I also got a relic that made it so like food would drop from enemies a lot more, like 8%. So yeah, I just kind of like ran. I died in the second boss. I like ran through most of the first area, like no problem.
Hey, that's fun at least.
Or like having like the vampiric trait, so you get health back from killing enemies. That's useful.
I always love that in games where you can. RPGs do that a lot, where you eventually will get it's health back for killing enemies. Always love that. Makes you feel powerful.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just still playing the same stuff. Unlike you, I'm not excited for anything. So,
I mean, really, so you're like you have nothing that you're excited for a while, I guess.
I mean, not until like God of War, or I guess I did pre-order Soul Hackers too, but I don't think I'm going to open that because it's going to be too valuable to open. And I already have a friend playing that game right now, a reviewer friend, which is like crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean that I will say Atlas, when they want to, they will give you games pretty early.
Yeah.
So that's the dungeon crawler, right?
I don't know. I think so, but like I looked at a trailer, it just kind of looks like, to me, it looks like Cyberpunk, like Persona 5.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of Persona 5 vibes from that when I watched the trailer. It was like, okay.
Yeah. So who knows? I didn't play the first one. I know that because I was like on the 3DS, I think.
Yeah, that's.
And they're like, oh crap! Now you actually have to make this for a console that people care about.
Yeah, it does have a lot of hype. But I mean, it also is coming out at the time where you're getting other games, so
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see when you get to August 30th if that game still has a lot of hype or it's going to get ate up by other things.
Right.
Moving on to the news, I guess here. I guess first off the bat, I particularly am not too enthused for this, but I know you kind of were interested in it. But we talked about the dangers of Asper, and I think it's Saber Interactive as well. Don't have necessarily the best track record.
Right.
And then here we go. We hear news about the KOTOR remake is at the brink of. They had to delay it indefinitely because it's at a point where they got to figure it out, and it's not going to be on schedule at all.
See, are you happy?
Yeah.
We're finally podcasting the day like a big news story breaks.
Right? Yeah. Now watch something huge break tomorrow as I'm sitting here editing again. But
Yeah.
Jason Schreier is reporting with Bloomberg that Astra Media abruptly fired both the art and design directors this month. So that is not good at all when you're getting into what this game was supposed to come out. Was that November, October? So
yeah, they said this year. That was like the hope or like the plan, which is like crazy because like he says like they just finished like a vertical slice of the game,
right?
And it's like this game was supposed to be. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. 6 months out, or 6 months to be done. A vertical slice is not that. Like that's like a year and a half away at the earliest.
No, it's just like we still haven't really seen gameplay of this thing.
Right. They just showed like a trailer, like a CGI trailer at that, of like Revan's mask being like reflected by like a lightsaber. That was about it. So this is kind of nuts. Like I think they said like they wanted it to be done by like 2022 or the end of this year, but now it's looking like to the end of 2025, and it's like that's a delay. Or you know,
let's hope not that long. I mean,
right? It's like that slipped a little. Like,
yeah, that slipped quite a lot. It's incredible when we saw that at the showcase. You know, what is it? Almost a year? 10 months ago. And then everybody gets excited for it. You thought, okay, well, they're re-released, they're doing the remasters and everything. And what we get is this looks great. And then we find out that apparently they're not too happy with it. So it's just weird to see that you wait this long to start like letting go of people. I wonder if the stuff that happened with the issues with the KOTOR 2 remaster on Switch had anything to do with it. Like,
I mean, that probably didn't help, but like that was a fairly minor issue. Well, I mean, it was major, but it was still minor also. I mean, I wouldn't trust Aspire or Saber really with this in the first place. Like,
right.
And this is a Sony, I would say, backed property or like backed initiative. Like they're licensing it from EA, obviously, but like it's only supposed to be in the PS5. So
yeah, I mean it's a timed exclusive. I think it's not but I think Microsoft. There's rumors that like there's a reason why Microsoft kind of just said, you know what, let's not. But
I mean, they should just have Bluepoint make it instead.
I don't know. I would think that Sony probably has Bluepoint doing something what they feel is more important. It would be cool, I guess, if you could get Bluepoint to do it. But man, this doesn't look great when you're firing two important directors. Now you have no idea when this is going to get back on track, and this could go be in development hell, like you said.
Right.
So. We went from having like a clear picture of when all these Star Wars games are going to come out to now you kind of have another one that's in the ether somewhere with that.
Yeah. Dead Island 2 is just on the way. We all know this.
Yeah. We're just waiting for Dead Island 2. We got the Jedi Survivor game. Right, yeah. And you got whatever the Ubisoft thing is,
open world, climb up tower game. They're gonna make is jetpack up the tower instead.
Right. We'll
Isn't Amy Hennig making a game also now? Finally,
Is it a Star Wars game?
I thought so. Because like that was like the story. It's like she's finally.
And then you got the Quantic Dream Star Wars game too, right? So a lot of Star Wars stuff coming.
She is making one with narrative driven action adventure game. So Star Wars, Uncharted.
Let's hope that this one actually gets to come through, not like the one that's previously she worked on and it didn't go well.
Right.
So
I mean, excuse my language, but they're gonna whore out Star Wars as much as they can.
Well, of course they kind of have to at this point.
I mean, they already have been, but I mean, yeah, look for more Star Wars games in the future forever.
Yeah. And especially if some of these really take off. I mean, you could keep having more of the, Jedi Fallen Order series from EA.
Right up until that dude gets his own Star Wars show.
Yeah, exactly. Then they'll have to figure out what to do with that for sure. So, Jason Schreier's not done here. He has some other things to report on, which include Ubisoft. Ubisoft had themselves a week, let me tell you. There's supposedly a Polynesian spin-off of Immortals Phoenix Rising that's in the works. It's not a full sequel to Immortals Phoenix Rising. It's just like we're going to take it in a different world, different kind of characters. It won't be so Breath of the Wild inspired, but it's still going to have a lot of the traits that made Immortals Phoenix Rising pretty good, which it was a game that I really liked when it was out. So I thought it was one of the better Ubisoft games that they'd come out with in a while.
I thought it was okay, but like too stuffed.
No, it definitely was. It was very overstuffed.
I didn't finish. I think I think you're supposed to get like 4 or 6 gods completed or something.
Yeah.
And I think I got like 2 done, and I'm just like, I'm kind of done now, like myself.
Yeah. You're like, I'm good with that.
But, at least compared to Watch Dogs, I was actually playing a character, so that helped.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, you go.
No, I mean, like, it could be decent, but it's like once you start doing the spinoffs, I don't know, I have less faith.
I mean, my trepidation is like, what Polynesian gods are there? Or like, I mean, I guess this is like the white man talking, or like the guy who doesn't know anything, but like, I know Roman and Greek and some Egyptian. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, there are.
Sure.
But
it's kind of like my problem of like setting Assassin's Creed games and like not famous historical settings. It's like, yeah, I mean, I guess, but how much of this history or like setting is known to people,
right,
outside of like fans of the specific time period?
But it is cool that you're going to like. It's not like we really see Hawaii get a lot of games made about their culture, so
sure.
It is cool to see Ubisoft go that route.
My only hope is that they get The Rock to play some god somewhere in the game.
Okay, that would be a lot of money Ubisoft is spending there just to have him in the game, but you never know, it could happen, right? If you're just using his voice and not his
he was there. Yeah, he was there. Hey, he did it for that that PS2 game, not the Stuntman, but Getaway, yeah.
And the Spy Hunter.
Oh, I was thinking Spy Hunter. That was it.
Yeah.
Not Getaway. Yeah, Getaway was actually decent. I think Spy Hunter was not, but he's still there.
No. Exactly. It's still in the memory. I mean, but that's not all for Ubisoft, though. They
had a fun week this week, didn't they?
Yeah. They delayed the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora game to possibly even 2024.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, no, it's the fiscal year of 2023, and then they're making another game. Another smaller unannounced premium game for between that time and 2024. Which
I don't care.
Yeah.
Why are they making this? Like,
because they want to tie it into the movie.
Yeah, but that first game didn't do well. Like, they keep wanting to make these like movie-based games, and they never do well, either critically or commercially. Like, remember King Kong?
Yeah, no, that didn't.
And like,
do well.
I mean, well, this will dovetail into like more of the Ubisoft talk, but like, they ignore every warning sign possible, and then they ignore what the audience wants or like what their fans want. It is like actually impressive in a way, because like unlike like EA or Activision, where like they barely make games, like Ubisoft has a pretty good output, or at least a constant one, and they just make shit that no one cares about.
I mean, I would say that EA has about the same output as Ubisoft if you're going to include all their games together.
EA is working. Let's say they make like 8 games a year. 6 of them are sequels.
I mean, but that's fine though. Yeah. How many franchises does Ubisoft have?
Yes, but they're not all based on the same. You know, it's not like they make it. You know, Ubisoft makes a bunch of Assassin's Creed sequels. They're not all based on the same damn game or the same. You know, they have different like settings and people and stories. It's not Lambeau Field over and over, or you know.
Well, when you have sports games, I mean, that's kind of unfair. But yeah, I get what you're saying. At least they're made in different, you know, worlds and.
I mean, like the only like settings. Iterative, and I'm talking like yearly sequel that Ubisoft has is like Just Dance.
Yeah, that's true. That you can compare to the sports games, yeah.
Right. Like, you know, all the rest of the games, like even if they are like a yearly franchise, they're still pretty different from one another. Or at least they, you know, they put in more work than, well, this football helmet has 10 more polygons, so let's slap a $70 price tag on it and call it a day.
I will always agree there with you that sports games should not be $60, but also you kind of need to be intelligent about how long has it been since you bought the sports game? Did you buy it last year? Maybe don't buy this one. You know, unless it's like, I think you might be able to make the exception for if you want to say you had the last, well, WWE and like this year in particular with FIFA, because it's the last one that's going to have the FIFA name on it. So now
I'd say the same thing about
collector's item or something.
Say the same thing about Madden this year also.
Yeah, with having Madden on the cover.
Right.
You would think that they're not going to probably have Madden on the cover again, probably.
Ever? I mean...
Well, not ever.
Well,
I'm sure there will be another year where it'll be cool to put him on it again or something, whatever.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, but it's just Ubisoft. That's not the only thing, though. They also delayed still really has yet to be revealed Assassin's Creed Rift,
right?
Which is the one set in Baghdad that we talked about last week. They had to come out and release a statement that they're not canning Roller Champions after season 3, after Jeff Grubb said that they were. We still have to, I guess, see if people actually, you know, go and play Roller Champions, which would make it worth it for Ubisoft to keep supporting it. But again, as we've mentioned many times, Ubisoft continues to support things that we think are dead, but, you know,
they still support it.
Yeah, I mean, they did cancel Hyperscape. They canceled, what was it? 2 unannounced games that we don't know anything about. And then they canceled 2 other ones.
Well, they canceled the Ghost Recon PUBG thing, or the Call
yeah,
of Duty.
Ghost Recon Frontline and the Splinter Cell VR game. Which,
and again, that brings me to my earlier point of, like, you know, people have been clamoring for a new Splinter Cell for almost the past decade. So what do they come up with? Splinter Cell VR and that awful X Squad game.
Yeah.
That, like, they announced it got no buzz and they got killed within like a year.
Yeah, like I'm totally fine with what Bethesda does, where we have VR versions of our game, but we do release new games in that series so that you kind of have both, right?
Well,
it's Capcom also like with Resident Evil 4, like, you know, it's.
Well, it's also like, you know, the Skyrim VR, or even like Borderlands 2 VR. Like, they're just like adopting VR shit to work with that game. It's not like they're making a whole new game. They're just making it work well with like an Oculus Quest or PSVR. Like, the Splinter Cell game had to be like a whole new project. And it's like, why are you making this for a subset of a subset for people, you know, people? Because you have to assume the people are going to be an Oculus Quest or, you know, a VR owner, and they're also going to be interested in a Splinter Cell game. That's a pretty low number, I would assume, in the grand scheme of things.
You have to give Ubisoft credit; they just really keep trying with the Ghost Recon. let's do something with it.
But like, that's the point. Is like, no, we're not going to make a new Splinter Cell. We're just going to keep bashing the Ghost Recon franchise further and further into the ground. Like, I mean, I liked Wildlands kind of well enough, but like the next one they did, like, that bombed pretty bad, and Breakpoint.
Yeah.
And, you know, it doesn't help that all these games have like the stupidest names ever, like the most like common or generic names ever.
Then you still have that free-to-play one that we haven't really heard much about,
right,
in a while.
So yeah, like, their ability to just ignore what people want and go, no, we're going to make Riders Republic. It's like, what? Why?
I will say, at least Riders Republic was, you know, different.
Yeah, for like 20 minutes, and then you're like, wait, this is the same thing as Steep, and the same thing as The Crew 2. Not in like locomotion, but like just in terms of like formula. So it's like,
right.
What? No, stop this, please.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
that's Ubisoft for you.
They are a company that wants to tighten their belt, which is good, which is fine. But like, tighten your belt, but also make games people want to buy. And they have neglected that part of that equation. Like, I'm sure that Mario game will sell well. But like, for how much money they pumped into Skull and Bones, that is going to be like, that may kill the company, or like severely damage it at least.
I don't want that to be happening to any company. I still have faith that they'll do well enough with that game where it will find its base and it will do its thing that a lot of these Ubisoft games do.
What that thing reminds me of is the U-Draw tablet from THQ.
Damn, that bad.
Like, when it came out for the I think the Wii, right?
Yes.
Wii was the
Wii U.
Okay, when that thing came out, like, it actually did well. And they thought, like, hey, we can port this to the PS4 and Xbox, and it's like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
PS3, I think. I mean, that thing was such a weird thing, but like, yeah, I just think like Skull and Bones was like, not cripple the company, but be a huge drain on it, and they'll keep wanting to prop it up, and it'll continue to be a drain until finally someone says, "Stop this, please."
It's like, I wonder who is the one. Obviously, Yves Guillemot has a lot to say, but it's like who's the folks making the decisions that don't have some kind of filter that somebody says, hey, do we really need to have like all these different copycats of other genres and things that aren't really improving our games at all? Like
it feels always like they're constantly chasing a trend. And
yeah,
it's like
the one that came out this year that like nobody's talked about after like the first week that it came out. It's a Tom Clancy. I can't think of it. Extraction.
One? Yeah, that came out.
No one talked about that.
Yeah.
So there's another one where we're you said, chasing a trend, having multiplayer.
That's worse because they're chasing their own trend.
Yeah.
Because that not Breakpoint, that Ghost, or I think Ghost Recon. What is it? It's
a Tom Clancy, but it's more like Six Siege. It's based off
of
Siege.
That came out, and like that's one of their big successes.
Right.
Because when that first came out, it was terrible, but like they worked on it and built it up, and then just copied it with Extraction, and they just added aliens, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
So
because
I
guess.
Yeah, but like that Breakpoint game or that Call of Duty thing, it's like, wow, you guys are really scrambling, aren't you?
Yep. That's what it feels like with Ubisoft. Like right now, they are just in this holding pattern of everything gets delayed. Prince of Persia, the remake, got delayed too. Like, just you're not getting very much. And then you throw in the stuff with the work environment as well, and it's just like, and you're not getting much good press at all. Apparently, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is like in playtest form, which is
that's further than I would have expected.
Yeah, right. Like,
I mean, for how little they announced that, like 2017.
Yep.
I mean, it's been 5. That's like there are games that are still in development
around the same time as Skull and Bones.
Yeah, but like games like that, they were announced way back when. They have shown stuff from that, like progress being made. Like that stupid Grand Blue game that me and Jens don't want to play. That was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that was hurt by Platinum just pulling out of it.
Right. I don't think Platinum pulled out. I think like the rights owners wanted to do it themselves, and it's like, yeah, good luck with that. But like they've shown trailers for that game every year or two. Right. Like, hey, this is what it looks like now. And they haven't done that with Skull. I mean, they just did that recently with Skull and Bones, but like it still looked the same.
Yeah, and then what was it? Beyond Good and Evil 2 was like what, at least 2 or 3 years ago now?
Oh, I think it's that's older than that at this point. I mean, yeah. But they announced something that just never comes out. Remember when the dude from Looper and Joseph Gordon-Levitt was going to be part of it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that got announced 2017 at their E3 event.
Yeah, they had one the next year in 2018 with that trailer. Then they had another one in 2019, another trailer. And then after that, it went quiet.
Right.
And it's just like, yeah. I mean, you thought it was getting somewhere in 2018.
And then Michelle Ansel left in 2020. And then
it was like, yeah, I guess we're not going anywhere with this.
Right. But at this point, just cancel it like they did Wild like years ago and say screw it, Yeah,
it just sucks, man. I've been excited for this game to come out, and that thing's never happening, and just add it to the laundry list of stuff that like Ubisoft's just working on too many things.
Yeah,
and then you throw in the whole Assassin's Creed Infinity as well, right? They announced that like one of the ones is going to be set in Japan.
Yeah.
So
that'll come out because like Assassin's Creed is like one of their few franchises left that people still have affinity for.
well, it has to come out because not just because it has affinity for it. It's like one of the ones that they know will make money.
Yeah, it's like one of their tentpole. Yeah, it's like one of their foundational games. So
yeah, I mean, Valhalla is still doing well, and
yeah,
they just had the new expansion.
Yeah, I'm pissed that isn't on sale yet, or they have the big PSN sale right now. And that's like the one thing I'd like to grab, but it's not on sale.
I mean, it did come out recently. I know Ubisoft does sales pretty well, but they're kind of probably holding out hope for that.
Yeah, but there's other stuff on that thing that it just came out also that it's on sale.
Yeah, I mean, technically, you can just play Valhalla right now on the PS Plus service,
Yeah.
so that's there too. I mean, it's just to me. It amazes me how much more you have that's been delayed, canceled, or just it's there from Ubisoft than like what's come out recently. So,
right.
or it's really just feels like it's Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and some Watch Dogs here, and that's sort of it, right? I mean, the other stuff that they kind of just keep updating.
Yeah, I mean they do pump out a fair amount of stuff, but it's just such a slapdash,
Yeah,
approach.
it's really is going to be interesting with all these delays and everything. Like, what are you going to show that's going to be at the September Ubisoft Forward that's going to come out?
Right.
That's
I mean,
everything people were excited for is like delayed at this point, right? I mean, other than like whatever Just Dance, and
they haven't even shown off either the Prince of Persia remake, or
they did once, right? And then people didn't like it, so that's why they went and delayed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
weren't they making another one also, or no?
No, that was it, right?
Okay.
So yeah, it's the Mario game, right? That it is technically a Ubisoft game. This Nintendo lets them use the Mario license.
Right.
Right. So technically that counts, I guess. And then you have what is it? The Skull and Bones. And then that's kind of it.
I mean, is there a new Just Dance later this year? Because like that's not exactly a banner year for them.
No, yeah. Because now that you delayed the Avatar game even further, that was supposed to, I think, be another one of their big games. So it's like, yeah, it's just those two. It doesn't really give you a lot to. I mean, they'll have a lot to announce. They'll be able to have a lot to talk about. But it's like, are you really gonna have another freaking game, unannounced game that you haven't shown off yet? There, I mean, other than like, I guess giving you more information on whatever the Assassin's Creed Infinity thing is going to be.
This is where they announced they're going to bring back Wild
again. I guess Rocksmith Plus is still supposed to come out.
Yeah,
which that counts. They made a big deal about that in that last Ubisoft Forward that they had. And that, I guess, the Settlers remake, which somehow that will probably not come.
They have a bunch of like weird other shit going on, Anno, or Settlers and stuff like that. But
that's what that game is called. Tom Clancy's Division Heartland, the free to play one.
Yeah, or that the Division, they have that battle royale thing also. I don't even know if that's out yet or not. Or
yeah,
also called Heartland though, isn't it? Or
that's the free to play. It's not.
Okay.
I don't think it's a battle royale. It's just like a free to play version of the Division.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Yeah, there you go.
They're finally going to show a trailer for the Division movie.
Oh no, I forgot they're doing that too, right?
Yeah, Jake
Oh
Gyllenhaal.
goodness.
Yep.
Okay. Too much stuff going on, Ubisoft. Just too much. You know, you can cut it down.
Yeah.
A bit. Speaking of puzzling decisions, well, maybe it's not so puzzling if you consider what their reasoning is, but still weird to see. Normally, you see things go down in price after they've been out for a while. Not so with the Meta Quest 2. That is getting a $100 price increase to being, was it $500 for the 256 gigabyte version and $400 for the 128 gigabyte version. Sorry. I think Daniel's the one that has one of these. You have the first one, right?
Yeah, I have the good one. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, this is just weird though. Still, like, I get that the cost of making these has gone up with all the chip shortage and everything else, but and can you see the point in this?
I have seen stuff go up in price, like the Analog Pocket went up like $20, from like launch to like now, or even like the flash carts I occasionally buy, they've gone up in price. But that's like, apart from being a part shortage, that was like, I'm fleeing my home country because it's a war zone. Give me some more money, which is entirely valid.
Right.
Yeah, this is nuts, and it's like, it's almost like they're trying to kill the market, because one thing people liked about the Quest was that it was affordable, going up in price by $100 at least, not that affordable anymore.
I mean, I guess they're still wireless, right? Like they feel
yeah.
You know, so you get a win there of saying like, well, I mean, look at our competition who once again just revealed more stuff, which we'll talk about in a second. Oh, but they're tethered to the console. Oh, and you have to have that console, whereas this is its own thing. You just hook it up to the TV. So,
but
yeah.
Here's the thing: is that like, this hasn't been like, it's not like the Quest has been in stock already, or I mean, if you go into most stores, it's barely even around anymore.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, and you do get, I think you get Beat Saber included as part of it if you get it before a certain time. But
I mean, that's cool. But
yeah,
that's one of the big breakout hits of that thing. But like, hell, when I bought my Quest, I got the Star Wars games. You know, that was about the same value.
Yeah,
and it was a lot cheaper.
Yeah, at least they made it to where you don't have to have the Facebook sign in or whatever anymore.
Right. I actually think this is some, like, as weird as this is to say, this is part of some ploy to blow out inventory for the inevitable Quest 3.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think they have some kind of Quest 3 in the works.
Yeah.
And they're going to just, hey, let's get rid of this. Let's focus on making that Quest 3 where people won't care that much about the price because it'll be newer.
Right.
And that's what people are talking about. And that's so much what we're doing here. But it's still just weird that you see this. They still do have content coming. Like apparently, Ghostbusters VR, Among Us VR, Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, Chapter 2, which is also coming to PSVR. The NFL game as well. So there is things happening, but just get ready because next month it's going to be more expensive. So if you want to go out there and try to buy it at the price it is right now, you might want to go look for it. And this is even going to affect the refurbished ones too, which is weird. Normally you don't get to that.
Yeah, all the parts you need for that,
Yeah. Speaking of what I mentioned, the PSVR 2, Sony showed off a little bit more in a PlayStation blog post. The one thing that I'm happy that they're including is a see-through mode, because a lot of times if you're doing something in VR, you kind of lose where you are, or you don't. You kind of lose track of the outside world around you. And so this allows for you to kind of know where you're at in your room or in the living room area or whatever,
The Quest has that, which is kind of cool also.
Yeah. It has where you can kind of mark the lines, right?
No, the Quest just has a straight up mode where you can like tap the side of the visor and like you turn the cameras on and you can just like look through it.
Yeah, okay. That's cool to see that they're adapting some nice things from the Quest that people would probably like. You also have a cinematic mode as well, which allows you to play other things that are not, which you could do in the PSVR 1 as well, play other games that are not VR specific with your headset. You can also watch Netflix and movies and things like that with it.
I mean, I like the movie part, but I didn't like actually playing anything else with that thing. Did you?
I played a Persona Dancing with it.
Well, we had that like one mode, but I mean,
yeah.
Like,
and you can also play it in like the VR mode, which is like plays it as a 360 where everything's going around all around you as well. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the more I hear about the PSVR 2, the more great it sounds. I'm still waiting on that price, which still makes me wonder, are they going to be able to make it $400? Or are they going to have to go with the $500 price point? It'd be cool if they could do under 400, but I just can't see it. Right. But still, if you don't have a PS5, man, paying $900, almost $1,000 for both of those things, oof, that's a hefty price.
Yeah.
I should also know, I mean, not that either one of us probably going to use it much, but you can. They also have if you have the PS5 HD camera, which that's sold separately, by the way, so that's another investment that you have to make if you want to do this. But if you want to broadcast yourself playing the PSVR 2, you have to have the HD camera, and I think that's the only thing that you would use the camera for at this point.
Just streaming in general. I mean, because you can't use the PS4 one.
So I mean, that's cool that they have added more things for the PSVR 2. I want to see more of the games. There's supposed to be like 20 games ready for launch, but yeah, show us more of the games. That's what, at the end of the day, what matters.
Yeah.
And I still have to kind of feel how this goes if I want to. My problem with the headset is eventually it made you want to take it off. Does this thing going to have you that same feeling?
Problem with I don't like using mine that much, or like I use like an hour and then I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah. Exactly.
Go back in the case for 6 more months.
Well, speaking of something PlayStation related here, something that we haven't seen much of this, but this is what happens when you do get third parties involved in this. A lot of them have decided to adopt the whole letting you upgrade, but apparently Atlas is not. So if you have the PS4 version, Persona 5 Royal,
which I do,
which you do. I have the original Persona 5. I haven't upgraded to Royal, but now I kind of don't want to upgrade because I'm not going to be able to get the PS5 version. So according to a translation in a FAQ on the Japanese Atlas website, it reads, "We are sorry, but there are no products or PlayStation 4 purchasers of Persona 5 Royal for this title. We would appreciate it if you could purchase Persona 5 Royal for PlayStation 5 when you play the game on PlayStation 5.
I'd appreciate a discount." So it looks
right, like I was going to ask you, like, what do you think about this? Like,
there is a difference between renting Persona 5 Royal, just and just getting it on your profile, and then like doing what I did, which is having every damn trophy in the game. So what they should do is have like a sliding scale. that's like you have the game on your profile, you get like 10% off. If you have all the trophies, you get 90% off, or you get the upgrade for $10.
I don't think they're gonna do that, but I mean, I know they're gonna have the problem of people that obviously that's the thing that happens all the time with PS Plus, right? Because it is, and well, it still is part of that PS Plus collection if you have a PS5. So,
but not Royal,
not
right?
Royal, but the original PS
Yeah.
Persona 5, right? So the thing is, you can get it on sale for $30 right now, right? And they'll say, okay, well, I think that it's to avoid having the people kind of cut them in price. And I get that in a way of like, they don't want, because Persona 5 Royals are like, every time Sony has a sale on the PlayStation, that game is included in a freaking sale.
Yeah, I see that $30 or
yeah. I see it at $30 all the time, like constantly. So I kind of get Atlas in a way of saying, like, literally, if you bought the PS4 version, we don't want people going out there and buying the PS4 version and then expecting that we're going to give them a free upgrade, and then essentially you saved yourself $30 and then you cut us out of the getting money. Which, look, I get it from the people that own this game, like you, Mark.
Again,
we gave you our money, right?
Well, that could be something with the trophy, where it's like you had this trophy 2 years ago, you get the discount. You got the trophy 2 minutes ago.
Oh, but it's not even trophies, right? They could look at your PSN of when you bought it.
Well, yeah, that's
right. Yeah, and they could say, okay, after this date, if you bought it after this date, you do not get the upgrade.
Right.
Right. If they wanted to do it that way, but yeah, I just think this is a weird thing from Atlas to just decide to do this.
You know what I can really see him doing, because like Atlas has the reputation of like kind of a happy-go-lucky company, but they're not.
Yeah, but they also do weird things, like take this long to. I mean, they
like even like the streaming stuff. You can't stream the game after like a certain date in the game. So this would be really evil of them. And you can do this with the PS4. I don't know, or the PS5, I should say. You can basically blacklist PS4 games from running on the thing.
Really?
Yeah. There was a story when the PS5 came out that some member of the press had PT on it, on his PS5. And he's like the only guy that did it, because I think he said that it worked, and then Konami quickly blacklisted it for everyone else. But it still worked on his console, or his account. So I could see, I mean, I don't think they ever would, but I could see a world where Atlas blacklist Royal, the PS4 version, from ever running again. But I think if they did that,
they really can't, because there's people that you would have to give them a free upgrade to the PS5 version if you were to do that, because you can't take away that game from people. I mean, you can, right?
Yeah, you can do anything, really.
But I mean, the backlash you would have is
right
on that same scale that we just went through with.
It's not like the game is going to look dramatically better. I mean, it'll be maybe 4K, but who cares? Right,
it's going to be stylized.
Yeah,
but it's already so stylish and so cool looking that.
And I doubt. I mean, I would get this if all the DLC was baked into it, but it won't be. They'll charge an arm and a leg for that, just like they have been doing. So forget it.
Yeah, it's funny to me that you would do this. I
mean, I wouldn't expect a free upgrade, but if they said, "Hey, pay us $10 more," I'd be like, "All right, sure."
Yeah, I mean, I get it that you're releasing it for the first time ever on Switch and
Switch and Xbox,
so you
kind of PC. Yeah,
you kind of don't want to be like, oh well, we're gonna let. It's like everybody has to kind of pay the price that all these other folks are gonna pay.
Right.
I get it in that sense, but it's just also like you should reward the people that got it first on this console that you've had it on for a long time. So
Yeah.
it's just a weird choice by Atlas to do that. Did you see the poll of the game that people wanted remade the most?
No.
From Atlas. I think it's Persona 3, and then right behind it, tied was Persona 2. I think.
Yeah, Persona 2 has a weird. I mean, I have, but I've never played it. But I know it has a very long history, or got some pretty diehard fans. Especially since I know they screwed up the porting of it to PS1, or to bring it over into America.
Yeah.
So yeah, doesn't surprise me. But, what about the Virtual Boy version of Jack Bros? that obviously had to be number 3, right?
Right. Well, get ready. So far, they could change by the time we get there, as we're known to see happen with the Persona series. Naively, Atlas pulls from the game itself and decides to open their heart, have a change of heart, and let you have the upgrade for PS4. But we'll see. So far, that you'll have to pay that full price for right now. But hey, at least we know that EA is working on something interesting. According to Giant Bomb, there's an open world single player Black Panther game in the works. Very, I guess, appropriate that you also kind of started off with. It seems like with the trailer of the Wakanda Forever also touched on this of obviously Chadwick Boseman having passed and having that like legacy of people now think of him as the Black Panther. The game will also begin with Black Panther being dead. Obviously I would be interested in a Black Panther game. I think a lot of people would. Like, where do you fall on this? Do you have kind of a belief that this will be good?
I think it could. I mean, the Black Panther character is, I don't want to say basic enough, but like you could build a game around him. He's not like right. Superman, where it's damn near impossible to build a game around him because he's too powerful. Or like most DC characters pretty much like that.
Right.
And this, Black Panther is like a higher tech version of like Batman.
Yeah, I mean, and they did have the Black Panther Wakanda thing for the Avengers, so.
So yeah, I could see this. I mean, yeah, I hate to say it, I see this as like being like, Arkham City or like Arkham Knight or something like that. I question whether it would be if it would actually just be in Wakanda or if it would be like the Black Panther is patrolling New York City or something like that, or how you do that. Mobility, because like in the movies, he's not like the most nimble character.
Right.
Like he kind of just runs around. Like he doesn't have like, he doesn't like climb up walls like Spider-Man or have like a grappling hook or anything. I mean, I guess he has like that invisible ship. That's about it.
Yeah.
And what would you base this on? I mean, obviously you can't get him as a voice actor now, but would you base this on the MCU version of Black Panther, or like would you just kind of create like a new version of him?
Yeah, that'll be interesting, especially because we still have to figure out what's going to happen in the film. Who will wind up taking the Black Panther mantle? Obviously,
I mean, that seemed pretty obvious in the trailer, but
yeah. But still,
I mean, it shouldn't go to her. Let's say that, but it seemed obvious to me. So yeah, I can see this happening. I mean, I know years ago they were going to make a Daredevil game. That seems harder to make because of what's his issue.
Right. Yeah.
And this was many years ago, but it wasn't John Vignacchi, it was someone else I knew at Disney. He talked that they were trying to make an Iron Man game with like the Just Cause 2 engine.
Oh, yeah, I do remember them saying they were going to make an Iron Man game at one point.
And that would have been rad as shit. Like,
That
they did make a few
cool.
Iron Man games, but they were all terrible. Like, they were all like mission oriented, or just very single, like very mission to mission to mission. But this is very much like this is Just Cause 2, but you're flying around as Iron Man.
Just Cause 2 with the Iron Man skin.
Pretty much. So yeah, this could be cool. Yeah, I'd say go for it. I wouldn't say EA necessarily, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Respawn can't work on everything, so that's the thing that worries me. Is like Respawn's the one studio from EA aside from, I guess, their indie stuff that I feel like I can trust. So if they're not working on it, man, I worry.
You know who it'll be? It'll be Tiburon.
Right, yeah. This Force Game Studio, they got nothing else to do. But yeah, no, I mean, EA keeps doing their thing.
Well, also, like, they don't make superhero games much anymore. Where you're playing a solitary superhero. I mean,
they can take things from the Jedi Fallen Order game of seeing like how that worked and
sure
apply that. Obviously,
yeah.
I would be down for a Black Panther game for sure. Just I want to know who's involved.
Right.
As the train is
running through my house.
Yeah, right. EA did announce, speaking of FIFA 23, they did announce the new features for its last FIFA game, which will include the Women's and Men's World Cups, added as free DLC later on. It will also include the first time there's women's club teams, which includes the Women's Super League, the WSL, and the Division 1 Arkema in France as well. No NWSL for y'all the American women's soccer fans there. And that the women are going to be introduced into like the 1v1 modes. So you have that too. Hypermotion's been improved with even more animations. The one cool thing from eFootball gets put into FIFA, which is like the ability to have like a power shot, which is more like a special shot that you can do, but you also have a chance to block it because he goes really slow trying to do it. But it allows for like those last minute, oh my god, I saved the game kind of moments too.
Does this turn the ball on fire also?
You would think so, right? No, but I'm sure many people will be hoping for that. They might do that with the Volta mode, the one that's like FIFA Street that they have. So who knows? That could be added in there, but it would be cool, right? To see that happen. Make it all just arcadey at that point.
You know how EA used to have like, this is also like Visual Concepts, but EA had like celebrity teams.
Yes.
Or like the NBA game had that, like Justin Bieber, I think, was in like one of them.
Yes. Uh-huh.
FIFA needs to add like the train spotting crew of like Ewan McGregor and then all the rest of the train spotting guys.
Well, they do have some kind of partnership with Marvel for this one too, which I don't really know what that is all going to entail, but obviously that has to do more with like Ultimate Team. So,
get the Hulk as your goalie.
It'd be cool if you did get to have like the Marvel characters, but I doubt that that's what it is, quite honestly. But you never, yeah. I mean, they have added like celebrities before and legends and all that.
Yeah.
As my right when I'm gonna start off and drink some water, she stops. So, yeah, it's cool to see it's a weird thing because I don't want. Hopefully, EA having all these licenses and stuff can still improve the game going forward as it becomes EA Sports FC. I wonder if they're going to have a lot of things to be able to add. Or it's just going to be kind of like, oh, we took the FIFA name off, but everything else is the same. I guess. What do you think?
As we both know, as the WWE has proven, once competition has left the field, innovation truly can blossom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically the competition would be back into the field because we don't know who's going to be taking over the license now. So,
I mean, yeah, we do. It'll be FIFA, it'll be EA in like 3 years once FIFA realizes no one wants to make another soccer game.
I guess, but I just don't think that there will be nobody.
I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if 2K tries to see if they'll give them a discount or something. You know,
I just doubt. I mean, I really doubt it because they already have 2 franchises, like 2 yearly ones going on with WWE and NBA. I mean, they got out of baseball because their baseball game wasn't that good. They don't care about hockey. I mean, it'd take them more than a year or two to develop a good soccer game.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that happen with the WWE games.
I mean, right, those were finished, or those were like they were already working on a fairly well established framework. But just whole cloth, I mean, to create a new soccer game, I'd say at minimum 2 years.
No, yeah, they wouldn't be able to have one out. They would really already have to be like as soon as FIFA 23 comes out, they would already have to be in development, making something. And it, like you said, it would have to be kind of basic at the beginning. Maybe even go the route of ESPN 2K and say, okay, well, we're the official FIFA game. We're gonna come out with a budget version this time because we don't have a lot of modes, but you're still gonna see the promise of how we're gonna be better than
but sports. I mean, you're referencing ESPN 2K5, the football game,
right?
But that was a better football game than Madden.
Oh no, I agree, but I'm just saying they kept building and building and were able to.
Well, they made it a better game, but they also lowered the price.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Release it cheaply at first, but unless it's a good game at the start, it would just if it's not, it would just turn off more everyone who plays it.
Yeah, they don't have too many. I mean, if you fail and make a bad impression the first time, you may just get people to never try out your game, like the RBI baseballs and things like that.
Just like at Konami with eFootball.
Yeah, I mean, technically Konami has all those years of goodwill, and then they squandered it with eFootball. So, they didn't help things at all with that. I mean, technically, I guess they still have fans or whatnot. Or they
they have a few people playing it, but yeah, nothing compared to what it was or what they were hoping probably.
Nah, definitely for sure, especially when you take forever to come out with the major part of the expansion that's supposed to make that actually the game worth it.
Yeah.
So, that being said, there is one more thing I wanted to discuss as we go into talking about games that are coming out this week, which most of y'all have already know since I talked about at the beginning. But another game that I've kind of been keeping my eye on with this rumored Tactics Ogre remaster, and it's been finally found on the PS4, PS5 store. Tactics Ogre Reborn is the official name for it. And we don't have a price or anything, but they did take the PSP version and improve the graphics and sound and update the game design. while still taking things from the SNES version and everything else. I mean, when you talk about like classic tactical games, Tactics Ogre is pretty great. Do you have any kind of affinity for this? I mean,
No,
you like
never played it, but yeah, sure, why not?
I love that we're like going into, because Live Alive does this too. Like, I like the fact that we're going through and just like fully voicing these older games when you bring them into these newer systems. Like, that's a good idea, instead of having the like, oh well, it's still gonna feel old because you don't have voices, but pretty cool that they did add that along with the obviously quality of life things that they include in here.
Again, were you a fan of Tactics Ogre before or no?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, that's fine, but like, there are more. I mean, I don't want to say important, but there are more important to me franchises or games that I would like to see done first.
Yeah, I mean, interesting that we still haven't broached the like Final Fantasy Tactics like remaster, or like having a new one of those.
I mean, I was talking more like Parasite Eve.
Well, I know what you mean, but I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna bring back a tactics game, like, you think they would, if we're trying to do all these things Final Fantasy, right? Like, why not do Final Fantasy Tactics
again?
Yeah, again.
The second remake.
Yeah, I'm just saying, why not?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, like, and also, Final Fantasy, not the PSP one as much, but like Final Fantasy Tactics still has a very high, people fondly remember that game still,
right?
Or like nostalgia is very high in that thing.
Even when people talk about like Final Fantasy games that they want remade or brought back or remastered, like, it's still above some of the actual like canonical Final Fantasy games. That one is still in there.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'd say between the two, I'd say bring back Final Fantasy Tactics. But again, there's at least like 4 or 5 other Square games I'd much rather see done.
Oh no, I agree with you. It would be cool to have those just like franchises back, right? Parasite Eve or Vagrant Story or whatever. Just
Front Mission.
Well, they are doing Front Mission, to be fair.
Well, a good Front Mission.
Yeah, but Square is kind of where it is. They are, they brought back Live Alive, which nobody thought we'd get to see over here. So,
right,
that's cool. I mean, the more stuff they do, like, I love the fact that they're doing the HD 2D of Dragon Quest 3. So, would be cool if we could get ports of like 4 through 8 or whatever. But I mean, at least they're doing something.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and get through this really quick here before we talk about some San Diego Comic-Con stuff. So obviously, as we're, here talking about this, I already mentioned Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Digimon Survive, both coming out the same day on Friday. You got Azure Striker Gunvolt 3, which I like the Azure Striker series, so
Isn't it
cool
like,
that we're getting, it's like Mega Man.
Okay, yeah,
it's like anime Mega Man, basically. The Captain Velvet Meteor Jump Dimensions game that was shown off on the Direct is coming out that same week as well. Baron Breakfast also comes out. So a lot of stuff coming out towards the end of this month here. If you're hyped for any of that stuff, there's at least something there for you. And then we get a little bit of a lull until like the second week in August where we start getting some things. So, but there's, man, I am so ready for Friday. I'm ready for Friday to hit, to be able to play that. So that being said, there was quite a lot announced at San Diego Comic-Con here. Obviously the Marvel stuff was kind of front and center. Anything there that you
That
Or
She-Hulk trailer looked decent.
yeah,
I mean, I kind of am peripherally interested in Daredevil coming back, but I want to get like the whole cast back.
yeah, I think it's. I mean, it's cool that he's coming back for that, and he's also coming back for some of the other movies as well. You know,
And that Spider-Man show.
Yeah, that freshman year.
Do you think they get Tom Holland to voice him?
Oh, I don't. Man, if anybody can do it, it'd be Disney, but I don't think he will. Though I think they'll just get somebody.
Yeah.
Um.
I don't know. Marvel is so overwhelming at this point.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like we get Secret Invasion, King's Dynasty, Secret Wars, the Multiverse Saga. I mean, it feels like, oh my god, we're just like, there's 2 Avengers movies coming out in 2025. Everything goes okay. I mean, like, wow, that is a lot. That's a lot, man.
It's funny because I literally just picked up Doctor Strange 2 today at Best Buy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, today was like the release date of it. So,
I mean, I'm glad that Loki's getting a second season. So,
I mean, that's said a while ago, but
yeah.
I mean, I like What If, and
Right.
I'm more excited for like the X-Men cartoon show personally.
Yeah,
I mean,
the 97
most of the movies.
It's I'm kind of excited for the Captain America movie to get the first one with Sam as well.
Yeah.
There's just a lot with the Marvel stuff.
Yeah, they that like phase 5 through 7 timeline, and it's like we're never gonna stop, are we?
I mean, you know what? Credit to them though for having that stuff planned out,
as opposed to DC, where they're throwing darts at a dartboard and hoping for the best.
Yeah, it's just
maybe Henry Cavill will show up. We hope.
Right? Didn't they say they're gonna announce that? Like his
no, they didn't officially say it, but that was like the big rumor that like, oh, he's gonna show up and he's gonna be announced as like the Superman again, and they're gonna announce a new movie or whatever, and then that didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know who also wasn't there is Ezra Miller, and it's like, gee, I wonder why.
Right? Yeah. I mean, the Wakanda Forever trailer looked great. Down for that to come out.
I like Martin Freeman. Don't worry, guys. He'll be the new Black Panther.
I mean, they technically did show off, like, you know, Black Adam and
that still looks okay.
Shazam.
Yeah, I'm a little more iffy on Shazam personally, but Black Adam seemed fine.
How do you feel with that Dungeons & Dragons movie?
How can it ever top the Marlon Wayans epic, you know?
Right? That's exactly...
I mean, I've never played it. I have zero attachment to D&D.
Yeah, I agree as well. I don't have any attachment to it. I mean, the closest I've gotten is from watching Stranger Things.
I mean, the closest I got was playing Planescape Torment back in the day, but that was, you know, a game, not you know, pen and paper thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, of kind of understanding it a little bit.
I can respect it from a distance. That's about it.
No, yeah, definitely. You know, I know my brother played that growing up. So, did you any interest in that Lord of the Rings show now that we've?
No, not. I mean, I know Jens is excited for the soundtrack, of course.
Oh my god, the soundtrack! I mean,
like, as much as people bitched about that Cowboy Bebop Netflix show,
yeah,
this Lord of the Rings thing is going to be about 10 times worse.
It doesn't help it at all that it has a lot to live up to. So, and I'm not, just to be fair, I'm not showing any trailers here because we'll get automatically dinged for. We got dinged for showing Grand Theft Auto trailer because Rockstar apparently does not like you showing trailers.
I mean,
But
the
yeah,
problem with that Amazon Lord of the Rings show is it is very uh uh
low
not
budget.
no, I was gonna say it's ethnically diverse
Okay, there's nothing
in
wrong with that.
a book or in a book series that is not
Oh, but
because
I mean, you know they were gonna do that. I
well
mean,
that's the thing is it's like okay why tie it to this and it's like I know what everyone knows why but this isn't some book that or this isn't some small ass book that no one has read before that no one cares about. I mean there are college courses devoted to like Lord of the Rings.
right.
This will not go well for anyone.
Uh, what do you think of the? We don't have Daniel here to talk about it with you. What do you think of all the Star Trek stuff?
Ugh.
Yeah, not great. Okay.
The pandering at I mean I don't think you saw because you don't care about Star Trek, but
No.
the pandering ass Star Trek Picard trailer like had me laughing so hard because it's like yeah how many of these crew how much screen time is Worf gonna have in the show like probably like 7 minutes out of eight episodes
Yeah.
uh and then saying like oh we're gonna have a Star Trek Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks like uh crossover episode. It's like no, don't mix a bad show with a good show, please.
Yeah. Like we don't need that.
And I think I forget. I think it was Alex Kurtzman. He's like the main Star Trek guy now. He's like, oh, we have 2 more shows in development. It's like, why don't you just come to my house and shoot me? You know, that'd be way cheaper for your benefit than mine.
No. Yeah.
So it's a disaster. I am kind of interested in the Orville going to Disney Plus.
Do you think that's gonna save it at all, or it's just that it's happening?
Possibly, because like, well, I imagine Disney Plus will actually like advertise it some, which would be nice. But they are always in need of new content, and to already have a show, not with a large audience, but a show with already a baked-in audience that's already have established itself. That's much easier than making a whole new show.
Yeah, it's already on their coming soon thing. If you go on the
Yeah. So it'd be nice. I still doubt it, but I still have a little hope. That's all I can have. And I think it's funny that Disney's trying to get Doctor Who.
that would be awesome if they could get that the whole thing over there. Like,
No,
where
not
are
the
you
whole
hearing
thing.
that? Oh, they're trying to get the new season. They're trying to get the new season. Okay. Interesting. I thought HBO just was gonna own that in perpetuity or whatever, because they have the old series.
Yeah, well, no one wants the current one, so.
Well, maybe they'll rescue it with the old writer coming back and everything. So
Yeah, and I think there's some rumor that even Moffat was going to come back for a few episodes. Which, hey, good on him. You know, Jens doesn't like his writing, but I think like his era of Doctor Who is, I think, better than Russell T Davies personally. But they're pretty comparable, I think.
sorry, I forgot to I had myself on mute there for a second.
Oh.
I'm excited for the National Treasure show. Been waiting for that to come out.
Nick Cage, no dice.
You know they were not going to have Nick Cage. It's just going to cost them like the whole freaking budget to have him there. So
what?
that Dragon Ball movie coming out pretty soon here.
Yeah, that's like 2 or 3 weeks away. I'm gonna go see that.
Yeah, definitely same here. I might take a night to go see that. We saw the other movie that came out. So
I've seen all 3, like the 3 recent ones. And it's nice that like they're getting more popular. So you don't have to just like see like one, when I saw the first one, the Battle of Gods one. Like, me and a friend had to go to like a theater like a half hour away, and they had like one showing only. But now, like, they're actually,
thankfully, there's theaters by me that they always have those.
Well, now it's like anime is just getting more popular, so yeah, like they're being shown at more and more theaters.
Yeah, I've been amazed like recently how much they've just every time there's one of those new movies, there's theaters close to me that has them. It's like, wow, how things have changed. Where it used to like that never happened.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, anything else from the whole con that you?
Not really. I mean, it's not even about comic books anymore. It's just about these, trailers and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, it's been like that for a while, so
yeah,
at least they kind of include all kinds of media now, and not just the Marvel and all that stuff. So it's cool. Good to see like that they had a ton of people there. I mean, not sure how successful they'll be able to say it was at one point or another, but we got a lot of nice, cool stuff to be able to talk about for a while, and that's what's always nice about having these conventions,
Yeah,
we'll see what happens with Gamescom in about a month. Keeley was already announcing the big event there.
Yeah. Before you launch into the ending, we should discuss this real quick, just because it is kind of big. What do you think of the Vince McMahon stuff?
About damn time, right? We never really. This is one of those things that was kind of like always under wraps, like under the you kind of figured that there was something like that going on, but would it ever come out while he's still actively the promoter is another thing entirely. And wow, it actually did. So supposedly, Triple H is going to be the head of creative now, and it's between Stephanie and Nick Khan, so that actually own it. I don't know. There's part of me, like my friend was saying, that I don't believe that Vince is not pulling some kind of string somewhere from behind the scenes. But
I think
if it improves the product, I'm all for it, because that's one thing that turned me away is it felt like it was just going through this factory of the same thing over and over.
I think he might try to be, but like the rumors of like more worse stories coming down the pipeline, that'll quickly put an end to that.
Oh yeah, I mean, hopefully the company itself will be able to improve from all this, and not just the product. You can get some of the wrestlers back that left because it felt like Vince just wasn't caring about the indie scene at all, and went back to like, let's just go. I mean, we were getting to the point where I think USA, I mean, now this might actually be helpful, is the whole, they went back to that TV-14 rating thing of, the PG era was about to be over and everything. So let's see if that changes that at all. I mean, this is going to take a while, I would assume. I don't think they're just going to cut bait with everything that was already going on.
Right.
So, yeah.
I was with a friend earlier today. Like, she's kind of a lapsed wrestling fan from like 20 years ago, essentially. And I let her know, or she kind of knew already, but she asked me, like, she's like, so why did Vince leave? I was like, well, it's a publicly traded company. So him staying around would be damaging to the company, like, especially if more and worse stories get out.
Well, yeah, the one that came out today about the whole $14 million was found used through company funds that wasn't paid to anything for the company. So that already makes you look terrible.
And she didn't realize the WWE was like a publicly traded company. So I was like, yeah, they are. So that's why he's gone. Like, she thought it was like still privately owned. And I was like, if they were privately owned, he'd be there forever. But no matter what. But
yeah, I just hope to see that they actually could, go back to caring about the actual like wrestling and they're more of a competition for AEW as well, which has improved a ton in the time that Tony Khan's owned them. But I think he's also starting to get a little bit, not Tony Khan himself, but I think we're starting to see some wrestlers not be happy with things going on over there either. So it's not like the perfect world over there in AEW either.
right.
Yeah, just hope this brings like some interesting stuff going forward and not just trying to keep on with the same old everything. But that being said, I think that's going to be it for the show. Like I said, hopefully Dan will be back next week so we can have the triumvirate here again. And if you like what you heard, you can always listen to us on podcast form. As I said last week, and I should have said this at the beginning, we're always on YouTube first. And now that YouTube allows you to shut the screen and you can still listen to it very much like a podcast, that whole, you don't have to actually watch us. You can turn the screen off and you can just listen to it just like you would on your podcast service. And thankfully they took that off premium, because that was the one thing that would make me sometimes be like, man, is that extra money worth it that they charge you just so you can, turn that off? We do go on video first because I don't really edit this much. You put the timestamps and it's up there where, as you'll see from the one last week, it took me a while because of, family things and other things that I was doing. It took me a while to get that one up on the audio side. So, like I said, if you want to hear us like pretty quickly, go subscribe on YouTube to the WTN Network channel. Whenever we post something, you'll see it with the Video Games to the Max name, and you can go check it out. Or like you said, you can go listen on any podcast service that's out there available. We're pretty much on all of them. You can go follow Marc at Humanity Plague, follow me at WTM Sean, and then we will be back here next week. See you later, everybody.
Later.